That's the end of Soviet turn 2. And now to the German turn. And the Germans are still in critical mode here, trying to plug some gaps in the line, especially in the area around Sukinichi, where there are practically no German forces in the vicinity. So we proceed to the German activation point phase. The Germans receive 4 activation points. They have no activation points from their previous turn, so the Germans have in this turn 4 activation points to spend. The most critical area for the Germans is around Sukinichi, held by 1 infantry division. Nothing stopping the Soviets from advancing into Spas-Demensk in the next turn. The Germans had dispatched some units from the 2nd Panzer Army. These are currently at Bryansk, but it'll take them a while to get anywhere near Kirov. There is a road bonus that can be used at the rate of half a movement point per hex, but the railroads confer no such movement bonuses. So it is highly improbable that those units will be able to stop the Soviets. The only German unit near these Russian units are 2 weak panzer divisions from the 4th Army, and they will have to sacrifice themselves and stretch out in order to make a defensive line that may slow down the Russians before Spas-Demensk. So the Germans will use their first activation point to activate the units of the 4th Army for movement. Remember that in this game, mechanized units spend 3 movement points to enter every woods hex. So these 2 panzer divisions will spend their full allotment of 6 movement points to reach this wooded hex here. And here we see the movements of the units of the 4th Army. They have fallen back, and we can expect a counterattack here against this weak Russian infantry division, which is a breakthrough unit. And moving a little bit up to the north, they have fallen back and are defending this town here, Medir, and falling back behind the river in this area. Germans now spend their 2nd activation to activate the 2nd Panzer Army for movement. 2nd Panzer Army is holding the line here, but to the north of Belev, their 3rd Panzer Division is surrounded, and it cannot move from one enemy zone of control hex to another. So that unit is stuck there. The 17th, however, may move and try to form a line which is across this river and plug some gaps here. The 2nd Panzer Army also has units near Bryansk that should start moving towards Sukinichi or around this area to start plugging the line. The 17th Panzer Division can only move 2 hexes across wooded terrain, so it moves here. Next, the units near Bryansk make their move. The 4th Panzer Division moves its full allotment of 6 movement points to reach this position, but that is not enough to plug the gap in the line. Meanwhile, the Panzer Grenadier divisions near Bryansk, as well as the 19th Panzer Division, will take advantage of the road movement bonus to move in a northwest direction towards Roslav. And in the next turn, they may use that road in the direction of Spas-Demensk, if it's not taken by the Soviets, of course. With the movements we've just seen, we see that Sukinichi has become untenable for the Germans. Leaving the 216th Infantry Division there will doom that division to destruction, and it seems also that the 3rd Panzer Division is a lost cause. The Germans, even though disorganized in the sector of the 4th Panzer Army, have a pretty solid line, and the 9th Army is holding its ground against the Kalinin front. In the northern sector, the failure of the Russian offensive there has given the Germans a breather. The Germans used their third activation point to activate their R formation, reserve formation units for movement. The 216th Division at Tsukinichi will leave and move 4 hexes here near Kirov. Now the Germans have a line of units and zones of control in this area here. The unguarded part of the front is this area with much wooded terrain, which slows down any attackers going through that area. In the northern front, the Germans have some reserve units to move. These are the positions before movement, and these are the positions after movement. They've managed to form a line, but they'll have to give up some terrain. Germans have 1 activation point left, and they'll use it to activate the units of the 4th Panzer Army for movement. Although the units of the 4th Panzer Army present no gaps in their line, they will use this activation to fall back and present a more solid defense. These are the positions of the 4th Panzer Army after movement, falling back towards the city of Uvaruk and Gatsk. And they have 3 Panzer divisions acting as a reserve. That's the end of the German movement phase. To the combat phase, but there are no more activation markers. And now to the recovery phase. The Germans flip to their undisrupted sides 2 units of the 4th Panzer Army, and that completes the recovery phase and the end of German turn number 2. In the next video, it'll be turn number 3. And will the Soviets be able to maintain momentum and create more holes in the German line? Will the Germans be able to hold the line before they start losing important cities? We'll find out. Stay tuned for turn number 3. This is Stuka Joe signing off for now. Thanks for watching.